Hello and welcome to the Spandex and Wine podcast. I'm your host, Robin Hackney, and I'm so happy that you're here. This podcast is a place for conversations about balancing a healthy lifestyle and being happy. More specifically, happy hour. Together, we'll explore all things wellness and wine. I hope you learn a little, laugh a lot, and along the way, know you're not alone on this balanced wellness journey. Ready to jump in? Pour something in your glass that makes you happy because it's time for Spandex and Wine. Hey, welcome to the Spandex and Wine podcast. I'm your host, Robin Hackney, and I have to tell you that my husband and I are weather geeks. It's just so weird. Like, we will watch the forecast 17 times. We'll be seated together in the same room, watch the same forecast over and over, and we're still asking each other throughout the day, hey, what's the weather going to be like? What's the weather going to be like? We really enjoy Fox 4 for all of our news and weather. Plug for them. We do flip over to 41 every now and then, but we absolutely love Karli Ritter. And I was so excited when I reached out to her and she said yes to be on the podcast. It took a little time because, as you'll hear, when I asked her, it was a snowstorm. And then when I followed up, there were tornadoes and this and that. And so it took a little while for us to connect. So I know a lot of you have been waiting for this episode because I told you a while back that she was going to be on. So you're going to hear a lot of this in the episode, but I thought I'd give you just a little bit of background. Karli's passion for weather started at a very young age while she was growing up in Central Florida. In between the afternoon thunderstorms, she would often track every hurricane in the Atlantic Ocean on her own personal tracking map. Then she saw a waterspout in the Florida Keys and she was hooked. Her passion led her from Central Florida to the Panhandle, where she studied at Florida State University. While there, she earned a Bachelor's of Science degree in meteorology. During her time at FSU, her involvement with a student-run weather show started her on the path to becoming a television meteorologist. After graduation, she worked in Sarasota, Florida, and Montgomery, Alabama. Since moving to Kansas City, Karli has become involved with many charities around town and loves serving as MC at their fundraisers. She also earned her Certified Broadcast Meteorologist seal in November 2007 from the American Meteorological Society. When she's not in the Fox 4 Weather Center, Karli enjoys traveling, cooking, and playing or watching any sport. So pour something in your glass that makes you happy and get ready for Karli Ritter. Well, hello and welcome to the Spandex and Wine podcast, Karli. I'm so happy that we're finally connecting.
I know it's been a minute that we've been trying to do this. And I'm telling you, the minute you emailed me and I saw your podcast name, I'm like, well, I have to do this because turns out I wear that sometimes when I'm working out, and turns out I've drank wine back in the day. So
nice. I love it. I know I was cracking up because the first time I reached out, it was a snowstorm. The second time it was tornado. Last week it was thunderstorms and hail. I'm like, okay, apparently weather is an issue.
Turns out it gets a little crazy here in the middle part of the country, but yeah, we're connected. We're good. The sun is shining. I'm looking out a window right now. I think we're going to have a good one. So
I think it's going to be good. Yes. Yeah. Yes. And I want to ask you about everything that you do fitness wise, because you look amazing. But first, I want to know how you got into being a meteorologist. Like,
thank you.
Has it been since you were like young? Tell us the story.
Okay. So the elevator version, I know because we only have so much time, is I was born and raised in Florida. I grew up in Florida, just inland from Daytona Beach. So in Florida, every single day it storms. Anytime between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., you can pretty much guarantee you're going to get a thunderstorm. So I just kind of started to pick up on the weather patterns. I thought it was pretty neat. We get hail every once in a while with some of the storms, and I would be the nerdy kid running out and scooping up the hail. And I would watch them with my uncle actually growing up. We just thought it was so cool. We were fascinated. And then my family actually went on a family vacation to the Florida Keys, and I saw a waterspout, which essentially is a tornado on water. I was fascinated. I wanted to ride my bike towards the water, and my whole family was like, no, we're going the other way, So from there, I think I was fourth grade. I was hooked. And also growing up in Florida, we get hurricanes. So we don't get snow days in Florida. We get hurricane days. And I would track hurricanes. And they would give out these little paper maps at the grocery store during hurricane season. And I would literally clear out the whole bundle. So my mom eventually was mortified because I grew up in a small town. There was one grocery store. And she's like, well, there's no more hurricane maps. Karli took them all. So she got me my own tracking map. I still have it today. It's a
Oh,
laminated with a
wow.
dry erase marker. And I would plot, I would set my watch, and you could ask my best friend, I'd set my watch for 50 past the hour because the Weather Channel had tropical updates. And I would go inside and write down the latitude and longitude, and then I would plot it on my little thing. So
Oh
anyway,
my
that's when my
gosh.
weather fascination started at a very young age. I would always watch the Weather Channel. I went to college to study meteorology, but not to be on television, believe it or not. I actually
Oh,
went to
okay.
college to be a hurricane hunter. So,
Oh.
yeah, you're probably like, wait, what? So I actually went to college at Florida State University, which had the number one tropical meteorology school in the country at the time. And still do, by the way, go Knowles. And I went there with the goal of being one of the scientists on the plane that flew into the hurricanes. I had to take a speech class and figured out I could take a speech class for weathercasting and kill two birds with one stone, save
Oh,
myself some money for my credit hours, and fell in love with weathercasting. And then the rest is history.
I can't imagine you doing anything else. You're so amazing. You do a great job.
You're very kind. I appreciate that.
And I remember when you came to Kansas City
Oh,
because it was when Don Harmon was here.
yes, 17 years ago, it's been over 17 years. And I had the pleasure of working with the best weather team to kind of cut my teeth in a crazy weather market. I had Mike Thompson as chief. I had Don Harmon in the morning. I had Joe Lauria
Yeah.
on the weekends, who is still here and I get to work with, which I love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have to say that I do love when Joe puts out there the aches and pains alert. And it would really be helpful for us over 50 if you could just say that every day. Because I'm going to tell you, once you hit menopause, you're going to realize, oh, yeah, something bad's coming in. My shoulder hurts, my hip hurts.
Okay. Well, a mental note, I will maybe throw that his way. Just say, make it a everyday thing.
Just to make us all feel better.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Well, I've also watched you. I mean, I know you have young children still and watched the pregnancies and then have seen you transform your body. You seriously look amazing. And I was talking to my
Thank
clients, we're
you.
like, we got to know what she's doing. Ask her what she's doing. So spill it.
Okay. So I go to Orange Theory.
Okay.
I've done a bunch of different things over the time. I've been in Kansas City, but what I've been doing most consistently and have found the best results for myself consistently and been able to maintain very easily is Orange Theory. I love their
Okay.
program. It's an hour. It's just a really good fitness program. You do rowing, you do running, you do weights every single time you go in, and it just good energy, good vibes, good people that are there. I love everything about it. And it's been a really good fit for what has worked for me in my own personal fitness journey.
Yeah. No, that's great. And it's definitely working. I have to ask too, then, with your diet, have you changed anything there?
Yeah.
Because I mean, you're young enough that you can get away with a little bit of it, but it's a huge part of it. It's a huge component.
Well, first of all, Robin, I'm not that young, so thank you. But you're very kind in that regard. I am not that young, so um, so what really I think jump started it for me last January, so not 2024, but 2023. Orange Theory did a transformation challenge, and I went ahead.
Mhm.
I had done it the year before and did absolutely nothing. I wasn't serious about it. I think I might have actually gained weight during the challenge, But the second go around, I was like, you know what? This is a place where I need to dedicate myself to really see what works for me. And so I started going a little more consistently. But it was January of last year. And I still eat Reese's peanut butter cups every once in a while, but I
Mhm.
have really found ways where I will Google and find like a high protein, healthier version of something.
Mhm.
So protein has been a big friend of mine. I've really changed
Yep.
that regard. I also went down a deep dive. And as I was getting closer to my 40th birthday, I was like, I want to be the best version of myself inside and out. So I
Mhm.
started going to therapy every week or every other week to work on my mental health.
Mhm.
I met with a nutritionist who, as a almost 40-year-old woman and now in my 40s, what does that look like food wise? And just eating certain things to cater to my age, to cater to my health desires, and really overhauling, the clean 13 and dirty dozen. I don't know if you've ever heard about that. Like
Yeah.
the
Uh-huh.
foods you want to eat for sure that are organic and for sure that have a little more leeway, but I really took it seriously. I kind of subbed in a lot of stuff. I threw a lot of stuff away. I went kind of down a rabbit hole. I'm not going to lie. It was a lot. But I feel like my body has benefited from it tremendously. So I eat a lot cleaner. I wasn't even eating that bad before, but I just eat that much better. And I swapped out
Yeah.
little things, and portion control sometimes has been an issue of mine in the past. I've learned to really hone that in as well. And what actual 20 or 30 grams of protein, this amount of carbs, this amount of, I mean, like I eat carbs all the
Yeah.
time, but I also found out I have like a gluten intolerance. My body does not do well with gluten. So I still eat potatoes and rice and all that good stuff, but I've really cut out a lot of gluten for me. It just doesn't do well in my body.
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
another big overhaul for me. And so that also got rid of beer, which I don't miss that
Oh,
actually in
shoot.
hindsight. It's fine. Um, and honestly, I don't really drink that much anymore. I kind of cut that out. Occasionally a little tequila drink, maybe a glass of wine here and there, but
Yeah.
just not in my wheelhouse anymore. But I really, with my hours, I don't really drink that much anyway during the week. It was more of a weekend thing. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have to ask about your hours too, because I can't even imagine. I get up around 4:30, 4:45, and that's early enough for me. I don't know how
Mhm.
you guys do it.
It depends on the day. Some days I'm up at 4, most days actually. But some days I'm up at 2 a.m. If I'm working the early grind, because our
Ugh.
newscast starts at 4 a.m. So in order to prep for all of that,
Yeah.
you got to do your hair, you got to do your makeup, you have to make your own forecast, you have to build your graphics. There's a lot of prep work leading into that appointment or that,
Hmm.
newscast. So it's not
Hmm.
just you show up and rip and read someone's forecast. Like we're doing it all. So yeah, I mean,
Gosh.
it's a anywhere from 2 to 4 a.m. on a given day.
Then what time do you go to bed?
No, not early enough.
Oh, okay.
No, not early enough. I'll just say that I should go to bed by 8 o'clock. And if I get in bed before 10, it is a good day.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how you do it. Okay. Nope.
I
I
take
have to have
naps.
7
I'm
to
a
8.
professional napper. I'm a
Okay.
professional napper.
Okay. So then when do you do your workouts? Is it after you get
so
off?
So yeah, usually I'll go straight from work. Like today, I would probably go to a noon class and get that done. Also, one of the studios kind of overhauled all their equipment, got new equipment in. So my boyfriend and I bought rowers, and so we'll row. Like we'll put a game on and we'll just start rowing, and we'll row for 30 minutes and crank out, 8 to 10,000 meters on a rower, and just kind of zone out or put some music on, or we'll go run outside. It really
Yeah.
just depends on the day. So we'll fit it in where we can, when we can. But if I can get to a class, sometimes in the afternoon and evenings, it just depends every day. I'm
Yeah.
really all over the place. But my wheelhouse, if I could have it the way I like it every day, would be that noon class, or truthfully in the morning. I love working out in the mornings, but my schedule
Yeah.
doesn't allow it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then how old are your kids?
7 and 9.
Okay, because you are entering a really crazy time. Like they're probably already in all kinds of activities, and it's going to get more hectic. Let me tell you
Yeah, we
from
have.
experience. I don't know how you're going to juggle all of it.
I don't know. I haven't really gotten there yet, so I'm still, it's day by day for me. Some days I'm like, what do I have today? I just got to get through the day and figure it out. It just depends day by day, and I
Yeah.
haven't thankfully had to deal with the juggling of too many things yet, but I know it's coming.
Yeah.
So we may
Yeah.
be overhauling. I think the biggest thing for me is taking advantage of when they're in school and trying to do something, even if it's going for a walk or doing,
Hmm.
so I mean, it just depends. I did 75 hard once. And so a lot of my walks were
Yeah.
right after work or in between the shows in the morning on my break, just to like knock it out and get it done, So I'll
Yeah.
figure it out. I'll make it work one way or the other.
Yes. Oh, I have no doubt that you will. But I love that you prioritized yourself and your exercise and your health, and it certainly shows.
Oh, thank you. I mean,
Yeah.
I read somewhere like you can work out all you want and you can eat okay or great, but if you're not mentally healthy as well, then it doesn't
Hmm.
really serve you anywhere else. So it was a overarching overhaul for me. It's still, I mean, I still go to therapy every other week, and I will be the most vocal, proud proponent of that, because I think it is so important in
Hmm.
addition to physical health. I feel like people need to stay healthy and active. And I think a lot of people COVID, I think, ruined it for a lot of people. They just got very sedentary,
Yeah.
and myself included. And I was like, yeah, this isn't going to work for me anymore. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I like that you said that you mentioned therapy, because I feel like, it depends on the generation. Now I feel like it's accepted more. And it's something that we can all benefit from. So, if you have
Absolutely.
that. Hey guys, I need your help. I am in the running for Miss Health and Fitness 2024, and it all goes by votes. So I need you to vote. I'm going to put the link in the show notes, but you can also find it on Instagram. You can find it at spandexandwine.com. You can find it on Facebook on my personal profile, or on my Simply Fitness or Spandex and Wine. I'm going to put it everywhere. You can do a free vote daily. Thank you so much.
1,000% agree. I mean, there are days where I walk into my therapist and I'm like, we don't have a lot to talk about today, so we're just going to talk, And then other days I'm like, buckle up, Buttercup, we got a list going, So it truly depends on the day and the week, and everyone's going through different seasons, and I recognize that for myself and for others, and so I can only control how I respond to things and how I react to things, and by making sure I'm doing the maintenance for that, it allows me to react in ways or respond in ways that I think are way more healthy than I have in the past,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think it's very helpful. And there's so many outlets out there, so many different ways that you can find the right fit for you.
Agreed.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Karli, thank you so much for taking time. I know that you're kind of probably in between shows, so I don't want to keep you too long, but I really appreciate you being here, and I'm so happy that we finally connected.
Oh, me too. And thank you for having me on. And I truly hope that, as you continue on with your podcast and stuff, it's been fun to see some of your guests. And I can't wait to see who you have on next. I feel like I'm kind of like, I'm like, man, those people are already on. You sure you want to talk to me, Rob?
Yeah.
So, but I truly appreciate you reaching out. Thank you. And like I said earlier, I just really want to inspire everyone to take care of their mental health and their physical health, because I think that sets everybody up for so much success in every category of their life.
Yep, I agree. Thank you. That was so fun. I've loved watching Karli over the years on television. I wondered if she was as genuine as she appears to be, and she is. We were chatting afterwards, and although she doesn't drink much anymore, she said she does enjoy a Sauvignon Blanc in the summer, a Pinot Noir in the winter, and has opened back up to tequila, yay, tequila, after a bad experience like so many of us, in the form of spicy margaritas. That sounds delicious. Okay, here are a few takeaways from our conversation. 1, some of us find our passions early in life and run with it. Some of us take a while to figure out our right fit. There's no right or wrong unless you ignore it instead of pursuing your dreams. Go for it. 2, every body is different, and the form of exercise we choose should feel right and excite us. The key is consistency to see results. And 3, fitness and nutrition are so important in a healthy lifestyle, but so is taking care of your mental health. Finding a therapist you trust can be just as beneficial to your overall health as what you put in your mouth and how much you work out, maybe even more. Thanks so much for listening. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend. And if this podcast has become a new favorite, please take a few minutes to give a 5-star review to help the algorithm of it being shared to more people. Thank you for listening. If you're enjoying this podcast, be sure to follow Spandex and Wine so you don't miss an episode. To do this, just go to the podcast and click subscribe or follow wherever you are listening. Look for the plus sign or follow button. This is one of the best things that you can do for the podcast. If you'd also be willing to give a 5-star review, that would be amazing and much appreciated. Lastly, please share an episode with a friend or 5 to keep the love going, and join the Spandex and Wine community in our private Facebook group by searching Spandex and Wine. Feel free to reach out to me at any time by emailing info@spandexandwine.com or text me at 913-392-2877. I appreciate you. Thank you.